Hello, I'm the Wild Nerd. I'll try and keep this one snappy because I've already done 2 videos on this 3D loader Twine tool that I've created. But I've got it uploaded now. I've got it more or less finalized. So I figured it would be worth talking a little bit more about the update for what I think is the first basically release ready pardon me, version of it. So it's now up on itch.io. If you go to .noir.itch.io and then 3D-loader-twine, you find it on there. It's free to download, so you can use it for your own projects. What is it? Let's just run it. So let me show you. So it's basically a template for Twine that gives you access to a script that I've written, which allows you to load in free CSS and then pass in several different options for easy loading of 3D models with a responsive canvas. And then you can add also background images and trigger custom animations from whatever the GLB model is that you load in. One caveat with this, which again I mentioned it before, but you have to run it on a live server on VS Code because of the 3D model loading, but that's pretty easy to set up. So yeah, it just allows you to, this is a Twine project, and then within the Twine project you can call this function, load 3JS with model. You pass it some arguments like the model, path, the background you want to use for the canvas, the lighting, scaling, position, and then that's an optional option you can pass in there for if you want to do this rotation. And there's several different options what you can do with this. So you can modify the lighting, like this example. There's also an animation triggering on that one too. And you can just load in a static model again. So you've got the you call the function, the tower, and blah blah blah. That's just static. The path name, the background, yada yada yada. So that gives you a very easy this animation playing. Very easy to use, fairly easy to set up template that you can use to create your own games. And obviously the template comes as this. There's also an example game which I'll show you. So I've produced an example of how you can actually use this to create a simple game. So I'll show you that first. Obviously there's only a few passages in this game, but it allows you to go from passage to passage with a different scene, for a different model being loaded every time. So just begin this. So there you go. We've got some sound triggering off. There's a 3D model being loaded in here with the image background. Look around. You've got that little bit of rotation with a specified background image. Inside, and then loads up the yeah. Loading seems to be a bit hit and miss. Like obviously that took a few. It obviously depends on your where it's being hosted. But yeah, basically you can use this to then load in the model of the character, change the background to whatever you want. It's not the most configured, the amazing one. This demo is just basically to show some of it. The character, the animation changes. So, example, computer. Like I said, sometimes depending on how large the models are, there can be a bit of a delay in the actual models loading in, which is a bit of an issue, which I'll have to try and fix. So this will load in, I think, probably in about however long. It's dependent on your connection, obviously. That will be something I'll try and fix actually, but for now, as long as you're using like low poly models, it should be fine in a lot of cases. But that shows you some of the basic ways that you can use this. That is, I think, possibly the reason that model's playing up a bit is because it's just on a GitHub page. So in most cases, it gives you a starting point. I know, right? It gives you a starting point for being able to load in models. you can load in those. So if you've got an animation list on a model, you can also load in whichever animation you want. So for example, if I go on to that demo again, actually, I can show you this in the console. So if we go, I'll close it down now, haven't I? Go here. And if I go into the demo again, I can show you that. So if you want to, if you're like building this yourself and you wanted to see what animations are actually on this model, you can do that as well. So you get the animation list there. So there's actually 32 animations on this model. So for example, if you wanted to change the animation to number 6, which is called join, then instead of loading in 0, which is what's loading in there, you just pass in the number 6, and that would change that. I've gone over the code before, so I'll very quickly just go over the newer version. This is like the first like release ready version, I think, really. But I won't repeat information from previous videos, but basically I've added in that texture loader for the background. Check so if you've set that, and then it'll set that texture, and then that allows you to just turn that off. That allows you to customize it to whatever texture you want, basically. So then you know, like a typical visual novel, you've got most of the features you need for that. And then yeah, you've got your animations that you can set here, which is passed in as a parameter there, custom anim. I've gone over this in previous videos though, so I won't repeat too much information. Just to make it really clear. So for example, if you want to load in and have a look at how it actually functions, you can do that. Well, this is the example game, for example. So you just go like, where is it again? Import, and then you select the HTML file for either the demo or the page, the landing page for the library. Both have examples on that you can look at. One important thing to note is the this free container needs to be there. So div ID free did. So anyway you want to watch it, add the canvas, you need to add that free container with the exact same spelling. But yeah, if you look at a typical scene, there's not much you have to write there really. You just have, this is audio stuff, so that's not even required. That's just optional. And you just add the free container there, and then you just call the script here, Windows load FreeJS for model, and then whatever settings you want to give it, and that'll work. One other important thing to know as well, that you have to obviously create the main.js because it's a custom script that's loading, and then you just have to add that right at the start, so it just loads once. And we'd also do here just the load the FreeJS libraries in as a module. But basically, the best probably way to get started with using it is you literally just download the template, because that's why it's a template, right? And keep this here because it loads the libraries, otherwise it's not going to work. And then just modify all this and take out whatever you want. That's basically it. There's some custom CSS as well. So again, free container has those customizable properties to make it so that it's responsive, and there's some other settings there which you probably want to keep or you can change. I mean, obviously all the stuff for the colors and everything else is just completely up to you. Just make sure that stays there. You could take it out and modify it obviously to something else, but you'd have to ensure that it's correct, otherwise it's going to go wrong. But all the rest of this is just, yeah, the main important thing there of note in the style sheet is that. One other final note, so at the minute I'm loading in the FreeJS from a CDN, so it just uploads the latest version of free, which is fine, but if you want to load in free from within your project, you'd obviously have to change this to a location of your minified FreeJS, and I'm pretty sure that should work. And then you'd also have to update this as well, so that you'd have the loader loaded in too. Otherwise, again, you're going to have issues with the model loading. It only supports GLB at the minute, but that's probably the format you really want to work with for this sort of thing, to be honest. And like I said, it is responsive as well. So though I do seem to have an issue with it. So if I load it through itch, the models don't seem to load on mobile. The loads fine on desktop. I'm not sure if that's an itch.io thing, but yeah, I don't know. That seems to be happening. But yeah, to try it out. If you find any bugs or anything that I haven't caught, then please let me know. This is literally something I've worked on for about 3 or 4 days, so it's there may well still be bugs. You've got like various notes here on all the stuff I mentioned. I'll leave it at that because I've already done 2 videos on this. This is probably overkill, but again, like I've modified quite a lot of it, so I thought I'd just cover it again. Alright, that's it, I think. Bye.